Welcome back to Jordan Shorty Jacks. Today I'm going to talk about some things that I was asked. I get asked a lot. How did I get into these Jack Russell Terriers? And asking me about my experiences along the way and my journey. So I'm living my journey every day. But when I look back over my path to get here, the journey I've already traveled, I can see where things, they led me into a circle. I didn't know that I was going to be doing Jack Russells 40 years ago. But 40 years ago, 50 years ago, when I was 10 in 1976, I had my first Jack Russell Terrier. Tan and white, smooth coat, short Jack Russell. Her name was Peaches. And she showed up at the house. She was a stray. Showed up at the house. So, no, I don't know if she was full-blood Jack Russell Terrier or not. But I knew that dog went everywhere with me. I knew that dog was courageous, tenacious, and it was like a best friend. It would go hunting. It'd follow me everywhere. It just wanted to be with me all the time. And I never forgot the impact that dog had on me as a young boy. So anyways, one day that dog ran off into the woods and never came back out of the woods. So we just assumed a coyote or something happened, or maybe it was on its own path and journey. But it never came back. So a couple years after that, I was at one of my childhood friends' house, and he had a little beagle, another dog there. Beagle's name was Cleo, and he had this other dog named Happy. And I seen that dog, and I said, "What kind of dog is that?" He said, "That's a Jack Russell Terrier." And I said, "That's what my dog was." So that was my first clue, because it acted the same, did the same things that my dog did. It just reminded me so much of my dog. His might have been a tri-colored, black, tan, and white, but I believe it was a tan and white Jack Russell as well, short one. And but to get the full story, I have to back up to about 9 years old, where I'd go visit my grandfather frequently during the summer and stay with him and my grandmother. And he had red-bone coonhounds, and he avidly hunted coons. Well, I was sitting in there playing with about 6 of his little coonhound puppies, and he came in there and got 3 of them and left, came back, and I was like, "Where's the other 3 puppies?" He said, "I called them." And I said, "What? What's that?" And he explained to me, removing from the program, didn't meet the mark, can't, things like you can't sell bad, sick dogs or offer them to people because it'll give you a bad reputation. And you wanted to keep the ones for your goal going forward, which was hunting. And he took me a few times with him hunting coons, take me out late at night, sneak me out there. My job was to just run around behind them, following the hounds to the coons and getting the coons. And I said, "What are you going to do with them coons?" Well, he said, "We're going to eat them." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "That's what you've been eating, amongst other things." And I was like, "Oh, wow." It was all fine and dandy until I knew what we was eating. And then it didn't taste good anymore for some reason, but it was just fine before that. But anyhow, so he sat me down, and one of the important things that sticks with me is he was showing me his handwritten pedigrees, showing me this dog is a champion coon hunting dog, and this dog was a grand champion, and that's what these dogs are coming from and what they have to live up to. And we're trying to make that better and beat that. I was young. I just never forgot it, but it didn't really mean a lot to me. What meant a lot to me was those 3 puppies sitting there. I've had dogs of many different kinds throughout my life that you know, dogs have always been a part of me, one way or another. So we'll go forward from there. Out of high school, college, military, and in the early 90s, I came and met this gentleman, friend of mine named Paul, and he worked pit bull terriers, hunting, weight pulling, all those things, and that's when I got my first real lesson that I could understand about reading the pedigree, reading the dogs, learning the dogs behind those dogs, why these dogs look like this, why they had these abilities, and how to take care of them, vaccinations, worming them. Sometimes with hunting we had to sew them up, you know, and a lot of different things just on how to basic stewardship and some advanced things. But there again, it was the pedigree. You know, this person had this dog, and this is what they were breeding for, and how you passing those and trying to carry those genetics forward, and all those things. This person's, they lied about their pedigree, their hanging papers. He said, but you know, what's important is the dog in front of you, not what might or might not be. Is it a good dog? Is it worth hunting? Is it a good companion? It's got a good temperament, you know. Does it have the right abilities to do what you need it to do? So then we go forward, and from that experience, which lasted about 6-7 years, and 2008, it came back around to the Jack Russell, because after dealing with those other dogs and being around bloodhounds, coon dogs, bird dogs, Australian cattle dogs, all of them, the one that kept coming back to me, that stuck with me, that had the biggest impact on me, was the Jack Russell. It was just the total dog for me. So 2008, I found this lady, her name was Sharon, and found a breeder, talked to her, and acquired a short Jack Russell male from her. His name was Milo, and I brought old Milo home as a puppy. Let him get more mature. He probably got to about a year old, but he was exactly what I remembered of my dog being like. Well, time would have it that I had a good friend that had some issues and things going on with him. He always kept saying, man, you should gift that dog to me, gift that dog to me. Well, I made a determination that where he was at with what he had going on, he needed it more than I did. So I gifted him that dog, but my plan was to go forward and hopefully breed back to that dog one day. Well, my friend David, he's not with us anymore. He left too early in life, but after he was gone, the family still had the dog, and ended up getting into their pond and tangling with some water moccasins, and that didn't turn out well for him. So that option never happened. So a little bit later, somewhere around 2016, somewhere like that, I ended up going back and acquiring, or 17, was going to acquire a dog from her again. But during this time, I was studying this pedigree from Milo, you know, and I'm like, what makes these dogs the way it is? Why are they like this? And what makes this dog the way it is? And I would look at their stuff and seen what its parents produced. She had pictures of them and told me a little bit about them, and started tracing the pedigree. Not just it was for a dog, but for a family of dogs, male and female. What is producing this dog? So that started a whole journey of tracing the dog, and that's what I did in between 2008 and around 2017, was tracing that pedigree, tracking those genetics, finding those breeders, and talk to a breeder, and one breeder would lead me to another breeder or send me that way. Hey, that dog came from over here, and get information from there. It totaled up to be about 10 years 9 years, 10 years worth of research and studies on genetics, studying animal behaviors, the works. Anything and everything that I could find, and there wasn't a lot. And what I did find was people that knew, that had experience, and they offered to share those experiences with me, and a couple of them have became mentors to me. At first, I'm just a student. I'm a student of it. It's never going to stop. I'm always going to research. Things are constantly changing, and that's how I ended up getting into this and making my selections for what dogs that I wanted to breed, and how I chose the Jack Russell. It was just a dog that stuck with me forever, you know. And also, when I was a little kid, one of my chores was, like, from 5 years old to through high school, it seemed like, was getting out there. We had a German Shepherd, my dad did, and another dog in a big old yard. And my job was to get the 5-gallon bucket, the shovel, and keep the feces, keep the poop picked up. I was a professional pooper picker-upper. And then later on in life, I became a plumber, so I didn't get away from the poop. And here I am. I've exceeded master poop picker-upper. So those things stuck with me. The dogs throughout my life, and not forgetting how that dog impacted me. No matter all the other dogs, they were good dogs, different breeds, but they didn't have what the Jack Russell has. And that stuck with me over years. My path was like this. So for anyone that's asked me, and those of you that asked me to share with it, that's kind of how the beginning started, and I'm probably leaving something out. Like I said, that was 50 years ago. Appreciate you asking me, and I don't mind sharing it with you. If this was interesting, or you like it, or whatever, share it. Like it, subscribe, whatever. Sharing is the most important thing, because as we go forward, we're going to be sharing information and experiences, opinions, other people's opinions and experiences, and things that can help the clients, the customers that have pets, inspiring upcoming breeders, long breeders, and also the opportunity for me to learn also from other people's experiences. So put them down there in the comments, and thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the next video.